The day after my surgery, I woke up to find my husband and my mother-in-law in the room. Sorry, I was on a step ladder at work and I fell off.
What are you doing? You're a part-timer, aren't you? Why not leave that to the full-timers? Is this another of your meddling ways?
Can you not talk to me like that? I have to stay in the hospital for a while, so sorry for the inconvenience. Oh, speaking of, I just transferred this month's share of expenses to the bank account. I usually contribute to household expenses with my part-time earnings, but now I'm stuck here. I can't even cook, let alone shop. So I figured at least I can give them money. But my mother-in-law turned it down. We don't need your measly earnings. Can you stop making that? I'm doing my part face. Huh? I had no such intention. Intention or not, that's the face you're making. We don't need you. I'm here. Besides, how much can a part-timer really make? It's not a lot, but it's enough to help with groceries. Sure, whatever. My mom-in-law's unyielding attitude started to make me angry. I'm the one hurt, but neither of them has shown any concern. Then my husband, Ash, said something unbelievable.
Frankly, you don't need to come back after discharge. You're just a liability. And it's a waste of time and money. Don't expect me to pay your hospital bills.
What? He's right. It's your own fault you're injured. We're the ones who will have to shoulder the burden, so you should pay us.
Why do the useless ones always cost so much?
With that, Ash and my mother-in-law left the room. Both despise any form of expense. So it's no wonder they're angry about me being in the hospital, worrying more about money than about me. I've started to think I shouldn't have married in the first place. A few hours later.
Oh, Miss Granite, long time no see.
Is that you, Jimmy? What brings you here?
I heard you got hurt, so I had to come visit. Just kidding. But I did hear from a former colleague that you're injured, so I took the time to come see you.
Wow, you didn't have to. Aren't you busy?
True, when I got headhunted a few years back, I was thinking of quitting because I wasn't used to the new environment, but thanks to your advice, I come this far. I will never forget that. Thank you so much.
You're making it sound like a big deal. The person who came to visit me is a former colleague from the company I've used to work at named Mr. James. Everyone, myself included, called him Jimmy. After leaving the company, I would occasionally meet up with old colleagues, but Jimmy had been reassigned and stopped coming. Apparently, he was headhunted by another company and resigned. Back when I was still working at the company, he didn't strike me as particularly competent. I guess he found his calling somewhere and turned into a professional. But I didn't expect him to go out of his way to visit me in the hospital. Coming after seeing Ash and mom-in-law, his kindness felt particularly warm. I was still frustrated from what Ash had said to me earlier, so I vented to Jimmy.
Really? Your husband sounds quite harsh.
This isn't a joke. I'm genuinely frustrated and angry.
Well, I don't get it. Where's your husband seeing incompetence?
The Miss Granite I know was far from incompetent.
She was a talented worker. You were sorely missed when you left the company.
Work and marriage are different, you know.
Fair point. I've never met your husband. Is he younger than you?
Yes, he is. That's why he's so attached to his mother. They're always together, and instead of defending me, he joins Mom in complaining about me. It's so annoying. Thanks though, Jimmy. Talking to you lightened my mood a bit. Once I'm better, let's go out for a meal and invite others too.
Absolutely. I'll come by again when I have some time.
And with that, Jimmy left the hospital room. He's like a close female friend in some ways. He's the same age as my husband, but he's so much more mature in what he says and does. The difference between them makes me indescribable. Well, I chose Ash, so it's also my fault. Later, I began rehabilitation. During my hospital stay, all I could think about was wanting to go home as soon as possible. But if I go home, Ash and mom-in-law will be there. I'd rather stay in the hospital. It's far less stressful. 2 weeks later, Ash comes to visit again, bringing mother-in-law with him. What do you want? Didn't you say I shouldn't bother coming home if I'm incompetent? Yet here you are, visiting me again.
Hey, aren't you happy I came to see you?
Frankly, if you're going to complain, you don't have to visit at all.
Oh, easy there. Why are you so mad? I haven't even said anything yet.
See, that's why our child acts distant with you. You always have this cold demeanor. Consider other people's feelings for once. That's why you end up hospitalized.
Here we go again. Whenever Ash is criticized, mother-in-law goes all in with her supported fire. Even though it's a conversation between a husband and wife, things never move forward when she chimes in. That's why I stay quiet when mom-in-law intervenes. Arguing back would only lead to more counter-arguments, and I'd be the one blamed in the end. This time, I was patiently waiting for the storm to pass, but it showed no sign of stopping. Worse still, they started talking about Ash's girlfriend. My son was thinking of marrying someone else before you, but they broke up over a trivial argument. He would have made amends if he'd apologized, but his pride's so high. He said he'd never apologize because it was her fault.
Look, it really was her fault. I did nothing wrong. Sure, she had a good personality and was attractive. In hindsight, maybe I should have apologized. Then I would be married to someone useless like you.
See, that's what I've been saying from the beginning. Are you sure you want to be with her? I always knew it was a bad idea. This proves I was right.
It's just a fluke. I happened to choose an unsuitable partner this time. I'll be more careful choosing someone with similar sensibilities next time.
The conversation was unbearable. I'm not the patient type to keep quiet forever. Moreover, this guy just mentioned choosing another partner. It seemed like he had thoughts of divorcing me. Well, it'll be a dream come true for me too. Frustrated, I let loose my anger on Ash and mother-in-law. You would have a lot to say, but this is just ridiculous. You mentioned I'm an unsuitable partner, but you're not even good enough to be called that. Initially, I thought you were decent, but it turns out you're just a mama's boy. Plus, mom is so fond of her son. Why don't you two just live together forever? Then no one would end up this unsuitable partner like me. You two seem to get along so well, why not? After saying all this, I felt a mix of regret and relief. What was funny though was the way both of their expressions changed from surprise to tense as I was saying this.
Who do you think you're talking to? Where are your parents? What's with the attitude? For someone so useless, you sure know how to run your mouth.
Mom, there it is. You're quick to call people incompetent, but are you so well-rounded yourself? Must be nice being perfect at your job at home, huh? You're really something. When I sarcastically praised mom-in-law, her face turned even redder.
How dare you act so smug? Who do you think you are?
I'm the patient here.
You little...
Just then, Ash intervened.
Hey, enough is enough. From where I stand, you're way more incompetent than Mom. Mom raised me all by herself while holding down a job. Could you do that?
I wouldn't know. I've never been in that situation. But if I were a parent, I'd teach my kids not to look down on others. It's not cool to call people incompetent, especially someone who's hospitalized.
I see. Well, it's clear. We've never been a good match. Let's divorce. No point in staying together after all this.
Fine by me. You were talking about being cautious with your next partner, right? That implies we're done. I wouldn't want to spend my life with you. Or your mother anyway.
Huh. You do realize you'll be financially unstable if we divorce, right? How are you gonna afford these hospital bills? Let alone your living expenses.
I got injured at work, so I'll get workers' compensation.
And after that, got no plans, huh?
Ash had a point. Even if I plan on finding a job immediately after the divorce, there's no guarantee that I'll find one quickly. Plus, it will take time to see any income. The situation isn't looking good. I need to figure something out before it's too late. I have been vocal until now, but the moment I stopped talking, they took the opportunity to go on the offensive.
So you haven't thought it through? Tough break. But what's said is said. We both want this divorce. If you promise to obey me like a housemaid from now on, I might reconsider. Right, Mom?
Yes, absolutely.
Not happening. Can you please leave? You're polluting the air.
You're a piece of work. Don't say I didn't warn you. You threw away your last chance.
With that, Ash and mom-in-law left the room, sneering. I have to find a job soon. My current workplace won't cut it. I'll go anywhere that offers full-time employment. Just a few minutes later, Ash returned to the room.
Hey.
What?
No, my boss was around. Just let me hide here until he's out of sight.
Come to think of it, Ash had been complaining about his current boss a lot lately. Apparently, Ash had been enjoying a slack job until this new boss came and shook up the department.
Why is he coming this way? Could he be next door?
What? Just then, there's a knock at the hospital room door. Ash shakes his head at me. I find his discomfort quite amusing. With a cheerful tone, I say, "Come on in." To my surprise, it's Jimmy who walks in.
Miss Gwinnett, I had some free time, so I thought I'd come visit you. Wait, what are you doing here? Oh, Mr. James, good to see you. Huh? Oh, you must be Miss Gwinnett's husband.
Yes, that's him. Did I introduce you to Ash, Jimmy? I think this is your first time meeting.
No, actually, we see each other every day. He's my subordinate right now.
What? Really? It turns out, of all people, Jimmy is Ash's boss. Totally unexpected. Yet, it strikes me as an opportunity for a counterattack. I'm in a really good position right now. Might as well corner Ash gradually. So, Jimmy, how's Ash's performance at work?
Hard to say in front of Miss Gwinnett. He has areas for improvement, but the fact that he's sticking to it is admirable. We had drinks the other day, and he told me he respects me, so my expectations are high.
When I look at Ash, he's staring at the floor, fists clench. He's probably thinking, "Don't say anything." So I decide to go ahead and speak. You know, my husband mentioned something about his boss. Turns out that was you, Jimmy. But I wonder if I should say this.
Go ahead, no worries. Hey, Gwinnett.
My new boss is so incompetent. He doesn't get me at all, or I'm only drinking with him to gain his favor. I'll bring him down someday. I recorded all our conversations. He won't make a single mistake. And so on. Sorry if I had known it was you, Jimmy. I would have told you so much sooner. Upon hearing this, Jimmy's expression changes, and he shoots Ash a piercing glare.
No, you're wrong, Mr. James. This is all a lie Gwinnett made up.
Jimmy, would you like to hear a recorded conversation I have that says otherwise?
Yes, please. Stop it.
I then play the audio for Jimmy where Ash was complaining non-stop.
Wow, I see. Thank you, Miss Gwinnett. Never thought he'd be saying stuff like this. No need for me to cover for him anymore. What? What are you talking about?
You've been swiping office supplies, haven't you?
What?
Did you know we have surveillance cameras around the office? Maybe you thought no one checks them. There have been complaints about supplies disappearing or running out quickly. When we investigated, we found you were the one taking them. I was planning to question you about it soon, but now I'll just report this to the boss.
Wait, what happens to me then?
That's for the boss to decide. Don't know if you'll even be able to stay in your current department or the company for that matter.
You can't.
Oh, by the way, Miss Gwinnett, how about working for a company? We'd be better off with you than him. Really? Is that okay?
It's fine. We'll likely have an opening soon.
Jimmy turned to face Ash. I'd be delighted to be under Jimmy. I'll make sure not to get too familiar with you. Don't worry about it.
You scum.
You asked me earlier what I'd do after leaving the hospital. Remember? Now it's my turn to ask. What will you do without a job?
Shut up.
If you listen to me, I might consider letting you and your mother-in-law be my personal servants.
Who would do that?
Oh, I see. Then you and your mother-in-law will be out on the streets.
So, if I become your servant, will you help us?
No way. I don't need a servant like you.
What?
So you have to try your best holding hands with your beloved mom. And so the episode came to a close. Later on, Ash was questioned by the company about the missing supplies and found to be reselling them. He was effectively fired. It was questioned by the police. Now, he's being supported by his mother-in-law's pension. Life's being tough. Even putting food on the table is a challenge. As for me, I started working under Jimmy. Although it took a bit to get back into the swing of things, I quickly adapted and became a valuable member of the team. Work is really enjoyable. I guess, as long as I have my job, life is good. If I ever consider remarrying, I think I'll consult with someone first.